As crews in the Northeast work around the clock to restore power to millions of people following Sandy, utility companies in other parts of the country are pitching in to help. Here first on CNBC is Thomas Fanning, Chairman, President, and CEO of Southern Company, which is the second largest utility in the U.S. and based in Atlanta, as you probably know. Tom, good morning. Good to have you back.
Good morning. Great to be back.
We always think of you in terms of the Southeast, but I assume you're part of the relief effort, the recovery effort. What are you guys doing?
Well, look, this is a national relief effort. Virtually all the utilities in the investor-owned space in this industry have gone to help this immense effort. Let me first say, our hearts go out to the people and the communities and the families that have been negatively impacted. The real heroes, I think, in the restoration effort are going to be the linemen that have left their loved ones and gone and worked under very challenging circumstances. Think about this storm. It's wind, it's rain, it's snow, it's flooding. And so the challenge of the logistics of getting the power back on is going to be immense, but we are dedicated to make that happen.
Well, given that, I'd love to get your estimates, at least, or what you're hearing, Mr. Fanning. I mean, as you say, it's not just trees downing power lines. Here in New York City, it was flooding underground. You had substations, Con Edison, exploding. I mean, are you getting any sense as to how long this effort may last before people have power back?
Well, as a part of our regular planning process, when we have natural disasters, you must know that as we anticipate the event coming on shore, we plan days in advance of that. There are regional mutual assistance networks that have been in operation well before the storm hit. So we plan. We stage crews. We have sent about 2,000 people from Southern Company, but like I say, all the companies in the investor-owned space in America have done that. We have to assess the damage first, and that's one of the most critical things that we're finding now, that has been a challenge with some of the areas being flooded or snow. It's hard to get to the areas that have been impacted. Once we assess, then we deploy the folks to the places where there is most critical need, and then we repair, and then we redeploy as the work goes on. It will take some time.
Mr. Fanning, it'll be interesting to see if anger grows in New York City over the coming days. We should be very clear what no power for 800,000 people means. No power means no water in New York City because it has to be pumped into the building and up a building, and it also means no sanitation, because those people do not now have WCs that are working, and we're told that it could be 5 days before that situation is rectified. Is the system fit for purpose if Con Edison is there saying, I'm sorry, we were ready for a 12.5-foot surge in water, we got 15, forgive us guys, that's just the way it is? This isn't a terrorist attack, this is just a bit of wind and rain, and we're crippling the southern part of Manhattan as a result.
You got to understand the scope and size of this unprecedented storm in this part of the United States is very unusual. And I can assure you that everybody involved is working as diligently as possible to get the power back on. We understand, we get it, how important it is to get the service restored to the families that we serve. And we're committed to doing that.
But Tom, I think what Simon may be getting to is, as the head of a utility, Con Ed, clearly they planned big, but I guess are others in the industry, are you saying that maybe they did not plan enough?
No, I'm not saying that. One of the things you have to understand, too, with the scope of this storm, every location has to deal with the environment in which they are facing. Every location is going to be different than every other location. We have to face unique circumstances and manage that process as best we can. I am absolutely confident that the leadership and the folks, the boots on the ground at Con Ed, are doing everything they can do to get the power back on as safely and as expeditiously as possible.
Mr. Fanning, final question here. You mentioned the unusual nature of these storms. It seems as though we seem to have unusual storms a lot more frequently than we used to. You run one of the largest power companies in the country. Is it your expectation, perhaps, that discussions about climate change, for example, will once again come to the fore and perhaps lead to more regulations on industries like your own, or is that not going to happen?
I don't think the data supports that the storms are more frequent or unusual than they have been in the past. But the point is, right now, we are not dedicated to getting into an ancillary argument. We got to get the power back on. That is our business at this point, and we're going to get that done as fast fast and as safely as possible.
Tom, thank you so much for coming on. And of course, on behalf of everybody in the Northeast, thanks for the help you're providing today.
It's an honor to help.
Tom Fanning from Southern Company.